Alright, so this is sort of an addendum to the Life is Pointless video. Um, I've started to watch videos online of people smoking salvia, and I've started to read about Buddhism, and I find a connection, which is that people seem to come to a realization in both that we need to rid ourselves of the idea of permanence. Things are impermanent, they're temporary, and you can't become attached to the things in your life. And this sort of continues my disappointment in reality, because what this essentially means is that, when the Buddhists say life is suffering, and they asked the Dalai Lama what the meaning of life was, and he said he didn't know. Which pretty much means that life is, if the object of life, according to Buddhism, is to sort of detach yourself from living and life, which is equated to suffering, and then that means that the object of life is not to live, which also to me means, in my perspective, that life is just a big error. It was a mistake. We shouldn't be here. Something happened. Something went wrong. And now we're stuck in this reality where apparently nobody really wants to be. Now, I don't understand why this would happen. Certainly if the Buddhists thought that life had a meaning, then they wouldn't say that the object of life is to escape life. So this doesn't help things at all. Unfortunately, I'm still disappointed with reality. But the idea is that through Buddhism you can at least escape some of the suffering. And I wish I didn't believe in any of this, but I do. I don't know why. Some part of me, I think it's watching the salvia videos and seeing these people who have no concept, or are very much people who cling to the idea of their reality, being forced to kind of observe a deeper inner reality, which is that everything is temporary. And I'd love to believe that when we die, we go to the afterlife where our deceased loved ones are waiting for us, and our deceased pets, and we all live happily ever after, but that seems like a fantasy world. It doesn't seem like reality. There's nothing to sort of suggest that, and there are things to suggest a more Buddhist reality, namely drug experiences. So, and the thing about drug experiences that really gets me is it sort of affects people who just wouldn't have any preconceived notion of those things before doing drugs in the first place. It's not like people, a lot of these people who have an ego death are not people who are prone to believe in ego death. You could give the most devout Christian or Catholic salvia, and a strong dose of salvia, and I'm sure that they might see the same thing, and feel like compelled to deny it to themselves. But otherwise, there's just no evidence of anything else, and I suppose it'd be nice to think that there was a meaning to existence, but if there is, what could it be? Certainly you'd like to think, well, maybe someday we could understand that meaning. But if you look at Gödel's theorem, you'll see that within any major system, in this case the universe, everything about that system cannot be understood. So where does that leave us? Not with anything to really go forward from. We're just sort of playing out this mistake, and it's not what I would have liked to have believed. I would much prefer that there's some grand finale of it'd be dramatic and there'd be good and bad, but in the end it would be good, the happy ending. That's what I'd like to believe. But all the evidence is not pointing towards that, and it's extremely disappointing. But I think I'm going to have to try to turn to Buddhism now, so I can try to free my mind of a lot of the materialistic and desire-driven programming that I've been subjected to for all of my 29 years. And I guess I'd suggest other people do the same, unless, of course, you have it in you to really believe in the happily ever after. And believe me, if I could, I would. But what I feel deep down, and I can't stand it, but the feeling I have deep down is that that just does not exist. And that's extremely sad.